Hello everybody, welcome to another Vintage Cube Draft. Pretty good pack to start here. The auto-selected card, Palace Jailer, is a very good pickup. It's 4 mana. Any 4 mana card can only be so good, but it is really strong. There's a lot of stuff for blue-white. I like Counterspell a lot and Hallowed Fountain. Deathrite Shaman is pretty good. I think it is probably first pickable. It's definitely like a first pickable level, power level if you already have fetch lands. But I'm just going to take Palace Jailer here. It's also the only like mono-white card in the pack here. This goes well in a lot of different decks, not like hard control decks typically. You do want to have some creatures to play to the board, but it's a very powerful card. And a really solid follow-up too. There's Plateau if we want to go into Boros, which is a pretty good pairing with this. It gives you 4th Aerlingus, which is also extremely strong. And there's also like 3 white controlling cards. Parallax Wave is probably the strongest card, just in terms of power level. Maybe we should just take it. I don't love leading on 2 4-drops for curve purpose. Like, I would not really want any other 4-drops if I start with both of these, or maybe one more. But with that being said, it is extremely strong, and it plays well in the same sort of decks where Palace Jailer does. Probably is the pick. Reprieve is very good. I love this card. I think it's a lot better now, too, that white decks have a lot of 2-mana flash threats, like Thalia and Cathar Commando. But yeah, let's take the Parallax Wave here. Now I need to get some stuff lower on the curve. We see Remand if we want to go blue-white, but I think this is a better start for just a white deck. We see a White Orchid Phantom, which is pretty solid. It is hard to cast if you're mono-white, unless you're mono-white. It is a really good card in some decks. In Constructed, it's a lot better, where you can have your own lands that are indestructible. Here, it's never really going to be a ramp spell, but it is... I mean, it's good against opposing decks sometimes. It gives them a basic land, but it's like hard to take them off a color, but it's good against utility lands, and it definitely can be good, especially if you pair it with other land destruction. Eagles of the North is only okay. I don't think this is great. And I guess I should note, there's also just a 2/2 with flying and first strike for 2. Yeah, I'll take this. I've never really played with it, but I think it's a decent pick here. Ooh, okay. Caracas is amazing. A lot of opportunities to go into blue-white. There's also Savannah here, but I'm just going to take Caracas. We don't have any legends yet, but we can get legends that makes it really flexible in our own deck, like Recurring Loran. But it's also just a very good interactive card in a lot of matchups. Okay. Highest upside card here is Ephemerate. I don't think Selfless Spirit is that good, and there's no cards that are strong enough to pull me away from white. You could take Into the Triome, which would set up a lot of possible splashes. But with this start, I think we are likely heavy white, and honestly, I'm gonna take this. It's good with Palace Jailer. It's okay with White Orchid Phantom. I guess it's pretty. I mean, if you do this and blow up 3 of their non-basics, that can really mess up some decks. But then also, if we get Solitude, if we get Blade Splicer. Okay, interesting. Pretty late Godless Shrine, and we do see a couple black cards that are the kind of black cards we would want to play. This would honestly be a great deck for Emperor of Bones. I'm not going to take it before the fixing, but if we take the Godless Shrine, there's a chance we get this when it comes around. And there's no white cards, of course. I mean, we could take Coveted Jewel, could take Mishra's Workshop. These two work well together, of course, but yeah, let's just take the Godless Shrine. Ooh, okay, so there's Lurrus, which is amazing in some decks. The problem is we have 2 really good 4s already. But that being said, Dark Confidant is pretty interesting. There's also Baleful Mastery, which is really good, but Bob is really strong in decks with a low curve and a lot of threats. The removal is already taxed. If you're playing like blue-black control and it's your only creature, it's a lot worse. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but one of which is it'll just draw their removal every time. But we're going to be stretching their removal in a lot of directions. I like Baleful Mastery a lot. I don't think Lurrus, like, I'm not going to abandon these 2 cards. Well, it's tough, because a good Lurrus deck is really strong, but I think we want to keep these 2, so I'll take the Dark Confidant. Now we see nothing that I'm too interested in. I think we take Benevolent Bodyguard, like we could take Creeping Tar Pit and set up for Esper, but the Benevolent Bodyguard isn't that good in general, but it becomes a lot better if you have cards like Dark Confidant that are really worth protecting. I think it is the pick here. Figure of Destiny Wield, that's great. Deathrite Shaman 2 if we end up black-white, but let's just take the figure. Okay, unfortunately the reprieve didn't come around, so we have to decide between Sunfall and Plateau. Pretty interesting. I think it's Plateau. Sunfall is okay, but we're playing like a lot of our own creatures and then spot removal, and like Parallax Wave is our sweeper, not Sunfall. So let's just take Plateau. Opens up a lot of really good splashes, especially 4th Aerlingus, but also if red is just kind of open, we could go in that direction. Here we see a couple pretty solid black cards. I don't think I'm interested in Kumano faces Kakazan. Valky. This is better as a disruptive card. This is higher upside, especially if we're playing red. I guess actually us having Caracas pushes this over the top. Yeah, you know what? I'll take the Valky. I think it's pretty good with this. You can like return the Valky in the late game and then replay it as Tybalt sometimes. Not much I'm interested in here. I think I'll take the Spellseeker. I can take Legion Extruder. Okay, not getting the super late pickups, which isn't great. White is not as open as I would like it to be. I think it's pretty open though, and I do think this is a really strong start. We'll see about the red splash. All right, perfect start to pack 2, the on-color Mox. Mox Pearl is one of the best things we could possibly get here. And like it's arguably even better than Black Lotus, which would make it the best card. It's between this, Lotus, and Soul Ring probably, and I'll very happily take the Mox Pearl. There's also Batterskull that we can look at on the wheel if we see Stoneforge. Leyline Binding, unlikely to be good, but could get there. Polluted Delta could as well. But yeah, let's just definitely take the Mox and be very happy about it. And we get past a lot of good stuff. Jeez. So there's Mana Vault, which is really good with Palace Jailer. Not good with the rest of our deck in general, but it is a powerful card. But there's also Solitude and Mother of Runes, which are both just phenomenal. Generally, I think I would take Mother first, although maybe it is just Solitude always, but especially if I have Ephemerate. This combo is incredibly strong. It's a staple of Modern. 1 mana, instant speed, gain, like take out 3 creatures and then have a 3/2 with lifelink. Like an incredible value. There's also Arid Mesa, Lelia, like a lot of good stuff here, even like Rogran Triome. But I think Solitude is the pick. There's an argument to taking Mana Vault, and then we're almost guaranteed to wheel one of these. And now if we take Solitude, we probably won't wheel the Mother of Runes. But I think Solitude is just too important to pass here. Okay, not the best pack now. Or some good cards in general, but not really for us. We're not on Teferi. Could take Jite, but Touch the Spirit Realm actually seems pretty good. It's another card like Ephemerate that combos with Solitude. It's not as good because it's 2 mana and it doesn't rebound, but still really powerful. Like 2 mana, instant speed, exile 2 creatures, and then put a 3/2 lifelink into play is very good. And then you can also just use this as a normal removal spell. Yeah, I'll take this. All right. Intrepid Adversary is a consideration, or we could just take Prismatic Vista if we think we want to go for the splash. I'm not too excited about the Adversary. Might play it, but it's not like amazing. It's pretty good with stuff like Ephemerate and Parallax Wave, but I think I would rather just take a Prismatic Vista here, which is good if we're black-white or if we're red-white. Okay, I think we got to take Loran. Showdown of the Skulls is interesting. If this comes around, that is real points for playing Boros. But Loran is just great, especially if we're playing Caracas. Also another card that pairs well with Ephemerate. Guardian Scalelord is okay. It's a little expensive. But it is, like, it can be really good. I guess it probably is the pick. I'm not really interested in Seachrome Coast or Thespian Stage. Magda would be okay if we end up playing red, but let's take the Guardian Scalelord. Definitely can be great. Ooh, Felia versus Timeless Dragon. Interesting pick. I think I'm going to take the Felia. Timeless Dragon is great, but this is definitely a card that I've never actually really played with, and I want to build around it somewhat. Right now, it doesn't work with everything, but it's good with the Phantom, Loran, Palace Jailer. We do have some. It's also actually really good with Parallax Wave. Yeah, let's definitely give this a go. All right, not playing. No white cards here. But Caustic Bronco is pretty solid. Unearth is also a consideration. But I think I like the Bronco. Having Bronco and Bob gives us redundancy for the turn 1 aggressive creature. Okay, there's Mishra's Research Desk, Leyline Binding. I don't think Binding is likely to get there. Obviously, the Domain deck is kind of open. But yeah, I don't think Binding is that likely to be a good card for us. It could become a 3-mana card, but let's just take this. We can honestly play this with without having much of a red splash, but it also becomes better if we end up splashing red or if we get Urza's Saga. I think I'll just take the land here. Okay, that's a late Teferi. Interesting. There's also Expedition Map, which can find Caracas, but I think I'll take the Teferi. Like, we can sideboard into more of a... yeah, wait. This is like an interesting pivot. We could go Blue-Eye Control now. That does appear to be kind of open. There's also Trinket Mage, but I think Dam is better. Yeah, I might just go Blue-Eye Control, funnily enough. I mean, well, I'm not going to plan on doing that, but it's a pivot we could do if we get more stuff like that. We passed a bunch of Blue-Eye fixing already, which is unfortunate. I mean, we have Prismatic Vista, but the fixing would be a problem. It could be like base blue with a small, or base white with a small blue splash, potentially. Interesting direction. I do think the black splash is looking better if we get enough playables and, like, it seems open. And yeah, here I will definitely take Evolved Sleeper. Which is not, like, it depends on how much black we have. But if we have enough black mana, then this card is a really nice cheap threat. It's similar to Figure of Destiny, where it's a 1-power creature that can just, like, you know, attack and block and, like, do stuff in the early game that's also a very good mana sink in the late game. Alright, so probably just going back to black-white here, unless we see Fourth Aerlingus. Of course, the Mother of Runes didn't wheel, but we could take Giver of Runes now. I do like Sam a lot with Karakas. We don't have that many fetch lands, just the one, but it is really good if you can recur it. I think Giver of Runes is more important. We could take Reanimate and then try to wheel one of these two, which is kind of interesting. Reanimate's a powerful card, although it's a lot worse in black-white than most other color combinations because a lot of our removal exiles their stuff. You know, we could, like, I guess, evoke Solitude and then reanimate it back. That's solid, but, like, not the best. And then if we're exiling all their stuff, that is not great. So I think I'm just going to take the Giver and just make sure I get it. It's such an important card. Like, having good 1-drops is so important. And now we can see 2 more good 1-drops. Which one should we take? I think Esper Sentinel. Portable Hole is definitely good. And we're kind of light on removal. Maybe it is Portable Hole. Esper Sentinel is good if you can buff its power, which we don't do that well. And we're pretty... Yeah, I think we're light enough on removal that this actually is better than Sentinel. Painful for me to pass the Sentinel because I love this card. I think it's really good. But I think Portable Hole is actually the right pick here. Now we could take Lion Sash. There's no black cards I'm interested in. Unholy Heat would be good if we splash red, but let's just take Lion Sash. It's not an exciting pickup. There's also Steel Seraph, but Steel Seraph is, well, actually it's tough. So it's bad with Dark Confidant and, like, kind of Caustic Bronco, but it's really good with Felia and Ephemerate, and honestly, this is actually good with a lot of stuff. I think I will take the Steel Seraph, even though Dark Confidant's beginning to look a little dicey. Okay, here I think I'll take Splicer over Porcelain Legionnaire. Legionnaire is good in general. I might even, I'd probably take it pack one, pick one over Blade Splicer, although I'd prefer to take neither. But Blade Splicer specifically in this deck with, like, Felia, or Ephemerate, all this stuff, I think is really good. Now we see Adeline versus Containment Priest. Containment Priest is a Nombo with Benevolent, or with Ephemerate, but it is good with a lot of our other stuff. Touch the Spirit Realm, Parallax Wave, Ophelia. There's also Adeline, though, which is really strong, and it's a legend for Karakas. Close pick. I don't think it's like Elegant Parlor or anything. We're unlikely to be splashing red at this point. We could even end up cutting black. Like, these cards are all good, but they're not essential. And then our mana would be obviously perfect. The Adeline or Containment Priest. I don't think either one is super likely to wheel. Probably Adeline is even... Or actually, no, probably Containment Priest is less likely. I think I actually am going to take this. Like, it's so good with Felia. I think it's worth trying out. And then we'll see on all these guys. Evolve Sleeper is not one that I really want to splash. Honestly, all of these are much better if you play them on turn 2, but specifically, like, just playing, like, turn 1, land, Mox Pearl, Dark Confidant, or Caustic Bronco is incredibly strong, and I do want to kind of maximize the games where we do that. Okay, there's Nethergoyf if we're playing black. There's Agatha's Soul Cauldron, which is pretty good. It's good with, like, Benevolent Bodyguard, Giver of Runes, the Evolve Sleeper if we end up playing that. But I think we just take Mana Tithe. Really, really powerful interactive card. If you're heavy white, it becomes easier to cast. Okay. We're definitely not able to play Doubt the Voidwalker. Souls of the Lost would be kind of interesting, but let's just take Sarah Paragon. Oh, Lingering Souls versus Cathar Commando. There's also this, which would be nice land, but I think Lingering Souls looks pretty good here. We can just play, like, we might not even play black, but we can just play Lingering Souls anyways with, 3 black sources, and I think that just seems good. Cathar Commando is solid as well, but I think this is a little better. We wheel the Sam, that's pretty great. Alright, Concealing Curtains if we end up playing a real black splash. Lion Sash wheeled. Yeah, I think we just want to be mono white for game 1 at least. If we play against a control deck and we really want Dark Confidants, then we can bring that in, but I think it seems pretty good just to like be streamlined and never have to worry about having dead cards. Something like Fourth Airlingus is much easier to splash, where you really just need 1 red source and you can have, you like really want it on turn 7, not on turn 2. But if the goal is just to always play these guys on curve, we're gonna have to play a lot of swamps, which will weaken the rest of our deck. Nice. We wheel the Adeline, that's great. I mean, yeah, white was not open in pack 1, but we cut it pretty effectively, and it became very open by the end of the draft. I think we just play 16 lands in this deck, 16 lands plus a Mox Pearl. So we'll play 1 Swamp for Lingering Souls, and then have 16 white sources, which seems plenty. There could be a situation where the Swamp is bad with Figure of Destiny, but I think that's super corner case. I guess Sarah Paragon is not a card I'm thrilled about playing in the main deck here. It's not the worst. Maybe it's better than I'm giving it credit for. And I think I do like the plan of not splashing. Don't want to play Dam. Not going to go for a random blue splash. Dam is a card we can play in certain matchups, but not always. Okay, we see Last But Gush, so it's between Plateau, or like playing Mishra's Research Desk and playing 1 Plateau, or playing Sarah Paragon. I'll play the Paragon. I think it's fine. So hopefully they can figure out this mana base. They cannot. Actually, there's no way they were going to be able to figure that out. All right, so this is 17 mana sources. I think that's, yeah, we have a pretty high curve for white deck, but with no utility lands and like also a lot of cheap plays, I think this is fine. Not the best Sam deck for in terms of recurring fetch lands, but it is good just for like being a creature in combat, and also just a legend. We have a lot of legends, which I really like with the Caracas. We have Adeline, Loran, Sam, and Falia. So we'll submit this, and I will see you in round 1. All right, we're on the draw for round 1 against 43 underscore. Very good hand. We have a couple cheap threats, a removal spell. They have a Mother of Runes, so it's important that we have a removal spell. That's definitely a card you got to take out immediately. Loran was an okay draw. We have a couple legends to recur with the Felia. Generous Plunderer. Interesting. I think we're just going to hold up the Felia here. And then hopefully we find land and we can just go play Steel Seraph and then bring it back as a 5/3. They also will likely give us a treasure token here. All right, nice. Taking 3 is... Oh, we actually take 4. That's, I guess, a decent amount, but not too worried about this. All right, hopefully this... I guess if they kill this, then it's pretty bad. Although the 3/3 with lifelink can try to race. So I'm going to cast this with Prototype. Would love to have mana tied up, but I think we do really want to go for this. So we'll give this lifelink. Hopefully no instant speed removal spell. Of course, they're representing multiple things, but we'll give this lifelink. If we get the attack trigger, we're in such a good position. We are putting yet another artifact into play, so the Generous Plunderer trigger is hitting us pretty hard. Okay, so I'm going to attack. Put this trigger on the stack. They can sacrifice to kill this if they want to. Then I'll just gain my 2 life, I guess. It's not the best, not the worst. Alright, so we both go to 18 life. Pass turn. They're probably going to use this Generous Plunderer again. I would love to find a removal spell. I guess we can flicker our portable hole if we really want to. Not thrilled about that idea because I don't want to give them a Mother of Runes. Carnage Interpreter. Okay, that's not too bad. Timeless Dragon in the graveyard's a little scarier. So they're going to attack, hit us down to 12. Do we want to touch the Spirit Realm, the Carnage Interpreter, or the Generous Plunderer? Probably the Interpreter. Then the question becomes, do we leave the treasure token in play, which gives us Mana of Tithe optionality? I don't think we're that actually, no, we're super unlikely to use the Mana Tithe. So let's just use our thing. We'll go land. Do we want to take out one of their tokens? Or do we want to just draw, put a counter on this? I think putting a counter on this is better. So I'm going to play Figure of Destiny. Cast Touch the Spirit Realm. And go to combat and attack. And again, if we flicker a treasure token, they use it to sack a clue. Flicker a clue, they sack a treasure token to sack it. So it doesn't do anything, so I'm just going to flicker Figure of Destiny to put a counter on this. And yeah, I think Mana Tithe is just a dead card this game. I'm not going to worry about that. This Plunderer is a little scary for sure. There's an argument we're supposed to take that out instead, but I think a 5/5 with Menace is just a lot scarier. Plus, if they keep on giving us both treasure tokens, I think the mana is better for us, although maybe not if they have the treasure. Yeah, maybe not, actually, with them having all these clues to sack. Esper Sentinel, not bad. We can kill that with Loran if we care. It might just be better to play Blade Splicer, though. Actually, yeah, definitely better to play Blade Splicer with the Felia in play. Although, yeah, then we make a bunch of 3/3s, but then the Generous Plunderer hits us even harder. Okay, they kill Figure of Destiny. Not too worried about that. We then take 4 down to 10. Containment Priest. Interesting draw. So that lets us just take out the Plunderer, which seems like it's probably correct. Well, do we want to take out this Containment Priest, or do we want to put 7 power into play? Let's just put 7 power into play. Yeah. And I'm going to honestly keep this treasure token. It means, if they attack, they're hitting us hard if they attack with the trigger itself. But we're then just going to first strike this down, and it seems fine. I mean, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 artifacts in play. So we would be taking 6 damage. But we're also going to have such a huge board presence that we kill them really quickly. And that's assuming they even attack, which they might not do. It's also assuming they give us another mana. Alright, so that's our 5th artifact. Yep. Wasteland, kill Caracas. Slightly annoying, not really a problem. Eternalized Timeless Dragon, okay. So we can also take that out with Felia, but I guess now there are 2 things we have to worry about. If they attack with the Plunderer, they lose it. They do, okay, so they just suicide this in to hit us for 4. Or for 5, rather. We could sack this in response if we were really worried, but 5 and 6 are not that different. Either way, we die to Fiery Confluence. Okay, still no land, so let's attack with everything and flicker their Timeless Dragon. If they kill the Felia here, we're in bad shape. It's not game over immediately, but it's pretty close because we have no flyers and no way to deal with this dragon. Oh man, the suspense. They only have one card in hand and one treasure token. But we do lose our Caracas. So far, I would say this card has been pretty impressive. I mean, it forced their hand on the Steel Seraph, then it created a Blade Splicer token. It's already a 4/4, and it was a 2-drop with haste, or with flash. And now it's going to take out their dragon. Wait, did we miss lethal? No, we didn't. We could have hit them for 11, put them to 2 if we just took out the Sentinel. We'll see if they use the Sentinel now. And then we have a few options. We could play Loran, killing their treasure token, and then pass with mana tied up, which is probably the right line. That pressures their resources the most. We could also just play Giver of Runes and then pass holding up Containment Priest, but that doesn't seem that exciting. I think killing the treasure token is pretty valuable here. I also think we're going to win no matter what. Oh, and they concur. So we take down Boros aggro in game 1. Should be an interesting matchup. Probably a fairly decent one. Do we want to bring in Dam and go a little bit more controlling? I think that's a good plan. What's bad, though? I definitely want all the cheap removal. I think Lingering Souls is really good, so it's worth splashing for. Lion's Ash might be a little clunky. It's definitely good if it gets to a certain power range, but it's very slow, and we don't have Stoneforge to find it, so that's probably the cut. I think I like this sort of top-endy stuff. I do think I still want Adeline. There's an argument for cutting Porcelain Legionnaire, but it holds on the fort pretty well. White Orchid Fanta might not be amazing, or White Orchid Fanta, but we'll submit like this. On the play, I'll consider bringing in a 17th land against Wasteland, but 17 mana sources on the draw seems fine. Okay, not an exciting hand, but I will keep it. Good mix of lands and spells, 2-drop into 3-drops. The best draw by a million miles would be Mox Pearl. Second best draw would probably be Giver of Runes here. Ooh, opponent's down to 5. That's tough. I hope they're able to keep their 5. The number one way they could win out of a mold of 5, well, there's a lot, actually. I mean, they could just play a quick Wheel of Fortune and reset it. But also, I was going to say Ragavan. Like, Ragavan into finding action out of our deck would be a pretty big problem, and they could cast any spells they hit, pretty much. Happy to see turn 1 tapped land, though. Okay, that's an interesting draw as well. It's nice because it's good if they... it's good if we're behind. Hard to imagine a way we get 2 behind here, but... They need to make a play on turn 2, and they don't yet. We'll drop this. I'd prefer it to be almost any other 2-drop, honestly. Like, Stoneforge would be way better, but still. We got a 3/1. What you gonna do about it? Funny card. It's, like, so medium, but, like, so surprisingly decent in a lot of situations. Okay, let's just jam Blade Splicer here. Set up for an attack with Adeline next turn, hopefully. Dark Commando, not too worried about that. That can like block the Blade Splicer, then kill the Golem. Let's just go for this. Do they have the reprieve? They don't. Block, kill, take 1. But we have a pretty good board. If they sweep the board, it's still not even that bad. Like, we've only committed 2 cards, and they've also committed 1. So if they sweep the board here, it's a 2 for 2. This is the sort of game where we would be ahead in a normal game, but when they're on a mold of 5, we're just massively ahead. Mother of Runes, okay. That is a way they could get back into it. Okay, that's actually solid. That's like definitely good 2 cards for them to have. How do we want to handle this? A lot of possibilities. I guess the main first question is, are we okay with trading Adeline for Carnage Interpreter? I think we're probably just supposed to attack with everything here. and then consider ephemerating something. Okay, so, oh, they go for this trade. Whoa. That's crazy. I'm shocked to see this. Okay, so I was planning on ephemerating this, which would then save our guy, but if they're going to offer this trade, I'll just play Containment Priest. And then this is great. I mean, well, it's not, I guess it's not that good, but I really like taking Mother of Runes off the table. And we'll pass. I mean, it's far from over, because these clues will let them get some value, but we're way ahead on board. We have a good hand. We can also start Loran to mow through some of their clues. I guess that's not that good of a way to fight them, though. Okay. Good draw. Do we want to use it here? No, if they want to trade here, I think I'm accepting that. If they were lower on life, it would be different, but we're not in a spot where we can like easily kill them with a couple hits for 4. Alright, so I'm just going to Loran, kill one of these, then Ephemerate it, kill the other. It's not super exciting, but the Containment Priest is gone, so we can do this freely. And it does just cut their resources. So we're going to waste the back half of the Loran, that's fine. Hit them for 4. That's not a bad draw. We can just put 4 more flyers into play. It does put us sort of soft if they have something like Delayed Blast Fireball. I think it's still the correct play, though. But this, I will say, that we might have made some misplays along the way, but whatever happened, we are not as ahead as I thought we would be at this stage. Reprieve, okay. Fair enough. Pass turn. Playing blue as well. There's a Containment Priest, okay. Do we want to tap this Loran to draw cards? Probably not. I think we are now at the point where I'm going to Parallax Wave them. And I'm not going to tap this, so we'll just untap. Ooh, that seems better. Yeah, that definitely seems better. Yeah, let's play the Guardian Scale Lord. We can give the Loran flying and then bring back Adeline. I don't think we would get the trigger from Adeline. So actually, let's just bring back probably Blade Splicer. Just get a lot of board presence. Although either one should be enough to win, frankly. So counter here. Swing for 3. Bring back Blade Splicer. Adeline is just pretty easy for them to chump block. This gives us the widest board. Hit them for 3, pass. The Rabble Master is not a problem against all our dudes. And then we Parallax Wave to set up our Alpha Strike. GTA shouldn't do enough to change that meaningfully. Actually does nothing against the Golem. Desperation card draw, probably having no outs. Okay. That is game. Alright, so pretty solid start. We are 1-0. I'll see you in round 2. Alright, for round 2, we're on the play against Hippo ! Love that enthusiasm. And I'll keep this hand for sure. It's not like the best use of Felia yet, but we can just start growing it every turn. We'll play turn 1, Plains, Mox Pearl, pass, holding up Felia, and then we can flicker our own Mox Pearl if nothing else. It would be nice to have something like a Thraben Inspector in this deck. Opponent plays Fabled Passage and passes. So we'll just develop the threat. It's not the fastest clock ever, but we will be hitting for 2 on turn 2 and 4 on turn 3. Untap. Oh, that is a really good draw. Very nice. Okay, so we'll play Caracas, play Adeline, attack, and then flicker our Mox Pearl. I wish I could flicker Caracas, but this is fine too. So I was worried about our clock not being fast enough, but now we're hitting for 3 on turn 2, and just a ridiculous amount on turn 3. Opponent needs to have something pretty quickly. This is also a key turn for killing our stuff, but if they don't do it right now, we'll be able to hold up Caracas and blank most of their removal. The worst case scenario, of course, would be like land, Mox, Toxic Deluge. Even that's just a 2-for-1. It's not like a massive blowout, but without something like that, they're just going to lose before the game even starts. So we're incentivized to play our things more quickly here because for the Adeline, all right, they just concede. So next turn we would be able to put at least 4 more creatures into play, which means this is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hit for 12 on turn 3. Yeah, take down blue-black control. It's nice that they played the island. We get to see that they are playing blue. I don't think we're going to change anything. We could try to bring in the Caustic Bronco and the Bob here. Let's see. How much would that mess up our mana? They would be really good. I would want to have like 5 black sources if I was playing both of those. And right now I have 3, so I'd have to play 2 more basic swamps. That doesn't seem like it would be too bad. And honestly, like, I don't know, I haven't seen that much of their deck, but I'm not too thrilled about Parallax Wave here, especially on the draw. I think this actually would make our deck a lot stronger. Then we have to make 1 more cut. Could be Portable Hole, could be the Bodyguard, but Bodyguard becomes better with these things. I think I like keeping the Solitude, like our removal is Palace Jailer and Solitude Ephemerate. Touch the Spirit Realm too. So I think I definitely want the Lion Sash, I want Containment Priest. I think I'll cut the Portable Hole. It could be good, but we haven't seen stuff that it's good against yet. I just think this is a good way to do it. And then if we see more of their deck, we could certainly bring in the removal again. Alright, nice hand. No black lands, but no black cards. Well, not really. We could even White Orchid Phantom, actually. Wait, actually that only destroys non-basics. It would be sweet if it could destroy basics, so you could replace your plains with a swamp. Again, our opponent's down to 5 cards. Hopefully they can do something. Although it's a lot scarier against a blue-black deck. Boros, like... they're going to play creatures. You're going to play creatures. Yours are probably going to be better. It's just a good matchup. But here, they could just mulligan to, like, Swamp, Dark Ritual, Entomb, Exhume, and just put Attrax into play on turn 1. So, against blue-black, anything is possible. You know, end of turn Ulcrish Bowmasters, untap Time Twister. They play Sparse Headquarters, okay. Not quite as explosive as last game, but still a strong start. We don't draw the land there. I would like to draw the 3rd land by the 3rd turn. I mean, we have plays for the next 2 turns either way, but being able to further develop and play our 3s would be good. All right, Sparse Headquarters and Rafine's Tower. So they're going to have blue-white no matter what. I think I like playing White Orchid Phantom here just to slow them down. So I'm going to start by attacking, and then I'm going to hit... So we've seen a swamp. We haven't seen a forest. There's a chance this is their only green source, and they can just, like, have all their... They don't lose a color if we just kill this and they get a swamp. So I'll play this. But I could definitely imagine this being some sort of like blue-black domain-y style deck where this is their only green land. They get a mountain. Interesting. So we might have accidentally helped them. If they don't do anything, we're going to play Blade Splicer and just create the most board presence. I think I would have left this back if it was a Mother of Runes. But with a Giver of Runes, I'm definitely going to attack. Like, any removal is probably going at this either way. The main things we want to protect with this are, like, the Dark Confidant, Caustic Bronco cards, or, like, Adeline. If they have balance here, it's medium bad. Arc Trail, not bad. Kind of happy they did it now, actually, so they can't kill multiple things. There's the Bronco, which we can't play, but that's okay. Let's just drop this. Hit for 2. Alright, not too afraid of a Lush Portico here. Their man is fine, so, I mean, if anything, we actually did help them with this, but go to know that they're playing Domain. Bristly build the yard. Yeah, that would not be too impressive here. And then do they have another removal? Oh, Tarmogoyf has a 3/4. That's pretty annoyingly good here. We can hit them for 2 in the air still, but it does hold back these guys. Oh, huh. Alright, that's a good draw. I think I'm just going to play it now. We could attack first and try to get sneaky, but... or like that would force the trade, but this way it does just seem better. So we'll attack with these 2, and then we can eat their Spar's headquarters to shrink this if they go for the block, which they won't. Alright, they take 5, pass turn. Omnath. Okay. That's pretty good. I think we can overpower this, though. Well, it does actually stop our attacks fairly effectively, because we can't attack... Well, we can attack with Lion Sash, probably. I don't think... I mean, we can't attack with these 2, and the life gain will outpace the White Orchid Phantom. Okay, they can crack that and make 5 mana here if they want to. I think I'm going to go after their lands here. Either way, they'll have a... Like, it doesn't really change the Tarmogoyf unless we go for the Arc Trail, but I want to grow the Sash. Okay, that's a nice draw. Let's go to combat and swing with Lion Sash and White Orchid Phantom. If they just block with Omnath, I think I'm fine just making that trade. Eat 2 things with this, then play Caustic Bronco. If they just take it, would we rather level up the Sash or play Porcelain Legionnaire? They do just take it. I think I'm just going to play more things here. Get a big board presence. Caustic Bronco into Legionnaire. We are paying 4 life here. But we're just going so wide. Next turn we should be in a good spot to attack with everything. Push a lot of damage, and then even in the face of their Omnath life gain, I'm not too worried. They crack at end of turn to essentially gain 3 life. It does grow their Tarmogoyf, but they are not the aggressor here. So with 2 cards, the question is just what do they have left? We can beat the board very easily. We can beat a removal spell, we can beat an Inti. Yeah, that should not be a problem. They don't even really have attacks because we have 6 power with first strike. So they probably just have to go Inti pass, which is not very scary. Karakas looks great against their deck. It's only okay against Omnath, but against Inti and Bristly Bill, it's really good. And it's sometimes good against Omnath. Turning it into 4 mana draw a card at sorcery speed is definitely a downgrade from what this card usually creates. So they probably just pass, and then we can, I think, attack with everything. Benevolent Bodyguard makes the all-out attack look even better. Alternatively, we could use Caustic Bronco. But I think I would rather just... Yeah, I'm not going to do that. We'll play the Bodyguard. We will attack with everything. We flip an Adeline. We are at 12. Maybe I was underestimating slightly the risk that our life total is under, but I still think it's just not that big of a problem. We can play Adeline next turn if we want to. Okay, so we need to shrink their Tarmogoyf. Let's go. So I guess, do we want to save any of these things with the Benevolent Bodyguard? I don't think so. I'm definitely going to shrink their thing, so we'll go Exile, Bristly Bill. Well, start with Exile, Prismatic Vista. I guess we just exile 3 things. Yeah, I'm just going to grow this as much as possible and push damage. Alright, then we hit them for 10. There's no first strike stuff that messes us up. It would be terrible if we put a creature in the yard and grew their Tarmogoyf, but luckily that doesn't happen. So this, or not luckily, by design. So we pass with just Benevolent Bodyguard back. They go to 9. We're at 12. I don't think we're at risk of getting killed by anything. I mean, they can give something trample, and then we're in a good shape to kill them on the backswing. We can play Adeline, crew the Caustic Bronco. They can gain some life pretty easily, but that's not too bad. Alright, so presumably they're discarding a card to dig. Discarding Swamp. I'm definitely fine taking 3 here. I'll say Lion Sash has put in some good work this game. It's slow, but it becomes huge. Okay, that is annoying. We have the Benevolent Bodyguard, so we actually, yeah, it's not too bad. We can save whatever they target with the binding. So yeah, should be fine. They're not dead on board, unless we go for the equip here and they don't have anything. Actually, they might be dead either way, because we can hit for 7, 8. If we flip a spell off the top with Caustic Bronco, we have lethal. Either way, we're making them chump block the Omnath, though, so we should be fine. And yep, they concur. So, pretty smooth sailing so far. We're yet to drop a game. I'll see you in the finals. Alright, on the draw for the finals. Of course, I would prefer to be on the play, but I have a good hand. Not going to complain against Shrekster. If they do nothing... Oh, okay, that's quite bad. The turn 1 Mother of Runes, that's tough for us to deal with. It's not like game ending, but definitely bad. So I think I'm actually going to hold up Mana Tithe here. Before I was going to play a creature, but these creatures just don't do much against the Mother of Runes. We can't attack profitably. So I'm just going to hold up Mana Tithe, and then if they have something scary here... Yeah, Staff of the Storyteller, this is actually huge. If they had resolved this, that could be a huge problem. But we'll counter that. And then on tap, and I think just hold up Containment Priest. No, let's just resolve one of our threats. Sure, I'll play both of these 2 creatures here. Sometimes you need to worry about mana efficiency, of course. Like, it's technically like more mana efficient to play 2-drop instead of 2 1-drops. They both use all of your mana, but it's going to be easier to split this up on a later turn. However, with like Figure of Destiny and Lion Sash, we're going to have plenty of use for our mana. Okay, let's play land. I guess there's not much point in attacking, really. They just block here, and we don't get any value. So I'm going to play Lion Sash and pass, planning on either growing the figure or eating their sash at the end of their turn. We could try to get this to an 8/8, I guess. And Benevolent Bodyguard does protect it. Two mana. If they have Arc Trail, it can't be too bad. If they okay, Blade Splicer, that's medium bad. We can play Sarah Paragon, probably, and be fine. I'm actually going to level this up rather than growing the sash. There's just not that much pressure to do the sash quickly. Untap. Bad draw. I will play out the Crocus now. It gives away a bit of information, but I think it's still worth it. I'm just going to pass again. And if turn figure becomes a 4/4. And then if we top deck a Mox Pearl, we can make it an 8/8 and just start swinging immediately with like 1-time Mother of Runes protection up. We just have like, this is such a brutal comparison. These cards do the same thing, but mine does it 1 time and theirs does it every single turn for the whole game. But somehow so far the Bodyguard is still putting in some work. Okay, I think I'm going to just... Yeah, go to blocks. Level this up, take no damage. It also forces them to tap their Mother of Runes, which is pretty relevant. Actually, probably not. Well, it's relevant in that we get in one attack. It doesn't change the value at all. If they play a burn spell on our figure, we're definitely going to save it with Benevolent Bodyguard. Okay, they just give their thing protection. That's what I expected. And that way, all this does is just mean 2 of their creatures are tapped, so good for us. Legion Extruder. Okay, that's just going to trade with Benevolent Bodyguard no matter what they target. And we'll eat this. Legion Extruder is pretty nice with the Staff of the Storyteller, so good we were able to stop that little combo. Okay, I think we just want to bring back the Bodyguard here. Actually, Sarah Paragon with Bodyguard is pretty nice. Let's just swing for 6. Yeah, this is one of the few cases where this is actually better than Mother of Runes. It's also better with Mother of Runes with Luris. Whoa, okay, interesting. It's a pretty conservative block. I guess I get it, but I don't think I would have done the same. Maybe they have their own Luris or something. But alright, good board presence for us. And then next turn we can just make the Figure of Destiny an 8/8. There's things that could either be bad here, like if they just play Parallax Wave, it's going to be really hard for us to win. But against any like 1-for-1 removal spell or any threat they could play, we're in good shape. Goblin Rabblemaster, not a problem. We're just going to hit for 11 in the air with protection up. A lot of aggressive decks here in this league, which is, I think, good for us. White decks typically are good at going over the top of other aggressive decks. All right, untap and just put all his mana into Figure of Destiny. And I guess I'll play this as well to hold up Caracas / Lion Sash. Definitely no attacks on the ground, but that's okay. Next turn we can equip the Lion Sash to one of these things. Who knew after all these years, Figure of Destiny still got it. Yeah, I think it is pretty much Parallax Wave or bust at this point. We're at 20, essentially 22. There's no way they could kill us. All right, so we take down Boros aggro in game 1, despite the fact they had the turn 1 Mother of Runes. I think once again I'll bring in the Dam. I will definitely have Parallax Wave for this matchup. Lion Sash is a card we could cut. It was good there, but it's pretty slow. And it's unlikely that the Graveyard Hate does anything. They might have Flage, but we haven't seen that yet. I don't think I want to bring in black here. Like Paragon, Guardian, Scalelord stuff seems good. White Orchid Phantom, I think just as a 2/2 flyer is fine. Yeah, I think it's Lion Sash here. Or Legionnaire. Like, if you play Legionnaire, pay 2 life, and then they just kill it. That's kind of a bad exchange, but it also does hold down the board a lot better than Lion Sash does early. Yeah, I think I'm going to make this exchange. And do we want to keep the Swamp stuff for Lingering Soul? Yeah, Lingering Soul seems really good. Like, having to pay life on our lands is not great in this matchup, but still seems fine. Alright, we could secure the trophy here. And we have actually a really good curve. No Mox and we're on the draw, so it's not broken. But turn 1 Giver into turn 2 Felia into turn 3 Steel Seraph and flip it. And then that's set up to have a turn 3, like, indestructible or, like, protected by Giver of Runes, turn 3 Seraph. Whoa. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just skip the Mother of Runes part of that plan now and go for this on turn 2. And then even if they do kill the Felia, we can Ephemerate the Steel Seraph later. I really hope they tap out for something. That's just great. This card sucks. I don't even know why this is in the format. And it is going to be outclassed very quickly here. So we need to make sure to play this before combat so that we can target it. So first we give this lifelink. Then we attack and flicker this. And we have an insane board presence for turn 2. We have 8 power, essentially like 8 power with flying if we want it. We can be gaining 5 life a turn. They have to kill the Steel Seraph here, presumably. Okay, no, they just play Lelia, which they can't even cast. Or they do go for the attack. Interesting. Huh. Do we want to trade or do we want to race? I think we just race this. Yeah, I mean, I normally trade with Lelia if I can, especially when they're on the play and they play it on turn 3. But, oh, wow. Palace Jailer, are you kidding me? This is like just the perfect curve. There's no way we could ever lose with a draw like this. So we'll play Palace Jailer. We get to flicker Mox Pearl and hold up Ephemerate. Holding up Ephemerate Mox Palace Jailer. So we'll give this lifelink. Yeah, this is like the absolute dream draw. I can't really imagine ever losing with a draw like this. So this is going to become a 2-2 with haste and trample. Or maybe just haste, but still, seems fine. We don't want to let them become the Monarch if we can avoid it. But they're at 10. This is our board. We have Ephemerate up. We're the Monarch. We've already dealt with one of their major threats. Okay, that's fine. Let's just let that happen. Go to combat. We will Ephemerate, targeting. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, it shouldn't matter at all. All right, they just concede. All right, well, that was a pretty quick league. Just 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Did not lose any games. Maybe Mono White is secretly still the best deck in the format. One of my coworkers who I talk to about Magic a lot is convinced that it's like by far the best deck. Like maybe you splash like for Lingering Souls or for Fable or something, but it's by far the best deck, and he has a lot of success with it. So I can kind of see why. We just had a really quick curve. We could pressure the opponent's life steal really quickly while backing it up with removal and threats that were interactive. And then, Karakas gives you an interesting element. We didn't actually use it that much here, but yeah, that was really impressive, and frankly makes me reevaluate Mono White decks slightly. I've thought for a while that they're worse than splashing, basically, but White really does have pretty much all the tools. I mean, it doesn't have discard spells or counter spells, so it's bad against pure combo decks, but there's just not as much pure combo as there used to be. You might see Reanimator here and there, but White has a lot of graveyard hate, and then Storm is not really a thing. So yeah, just a really sweet deck and a quick trophy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.